Abominations was a pretty fun episode of Legends of Tomorrow. It had a lot going for it, but it had a few things going against it. And really, it was nice to have sort of a sidetrack mission of the week. But I find it kind of annoying that they did this one in a row right after Shogun. But the show's got plenty of episodes to do separate things than just the main plot line. So I think it was fine. They took a break and went to the Civil War to fight zombies. Really, the whole plot line revolves around a time traveler released a virus by accident when he crashed in the Civil War era, and there's Confederate zombies running around, which is an interesting concept to play with. And the Civil War is an interesting era to play with as well. We actually got to see Amaya and Jax go and try to steal Confederate plans that needed to be stolen before. But of course, the runner got killed in the process of trying to save him, and so they had to go there, try to get the plans. And Jax gets chained up, and he sees people getting whipped and the horrors of slavery. And there's sort of an underlying theme here, I think, with the idea of the episode being called Abominations, that the horrors in this time weren't the zombies that had come from the time, it was the people. They were awful. And really, there's poetic justice at the end when the slave owner got eaten, and when Jax freed all the slaves and helped kill all the zombies. It was really fun. And that plot worked the best out of the three. The plot that I'd say worked the second best would probably be Stein and Ray and Mick's plot. Basically, Mick got infected, and Stein and Ray had to try to cure him. And Stein has this irrational fear of zombies, and there's some funny rapport between Ray and Stein, and seeing them kind of have to figure out a way to cure Mick was interesting. And they threw in some horror elements to the show, which I think I give kudos to the team, because I didn't expect that in this episode, even though it's about zombies, because Legends seems to be more of a lighthearted superhero show. But they threw in some horror elements and some jump scares, which was great. And basically, they cured Mick in the end. And really, the takeaway from this plot is like the big plot point of this episode. Basically, Mick gave Ray Captain Cold's gun and said he needs a new partner. So I'm guessing Ray's going to be like the new Captain Cold for a while at least. So that'll be cool to see where that goes, and hopefully that'll affect the whole season down the line. The part that was the weakest this week, I think, was the Sara Lance and Nate Hayward sort of dynamic as they tried to get Grant to defend the military. And there's a couple reasons for it. It's not because they're acting. They did great in their acting. But I have to say that they easily convinced Grant to follow their orders. But at the same time, I read reviews for this episode. It was criticized for doing that. But at the same time, I think it's kind of makes sense. Like, if you brought a zombie head onto Grant's desk, I'm sure he would be more likely to listen. But I think the plot really didn't work because they portrayed Grant as this, like, general who's, perfect and was a perfectionist. He really wasn't. He was a drunk, and he wasn't a very nice man. And not to bash on Ulysses, but he definitely was not the perfect general, and they portrayed him sort of as this shining person like Abraham Lincoln. And I think if they would add some more realism, as much as I'm saying that in this episode has zombies that are Confederates in it, if they would add some realism, I think it could have made Grant's character cooler. And I think John Churchill could have played him much, much better. But I had to say that the dynamic between Nate and Sara was pretty cool. And how Nick took down the zombies at the end was pretty awesome as well. But overall, it was an entertaining episode. It wasn't my favorite episode of Legends, but it was definitely fun. So I'd have to give this episode an 8.3 out of 10.